Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole. Welcome to Yahoo Sports on October 8th in Carson, California. Both of these young people are going to be in the ring in action. Not one Fundora, but two. You get twice your money for the same price. Sebastian Fundora, of course, is the interim WBC super welterweight champion. He will fight Carlos Ocampo. You might know Ocampo from, he fought Errol Spence. Next to Sebastian is his sister, Gabriela, who is also fighting on the card. So let me start with you, Sebastian. Is it tough to have your sister on the card, and does it get you a little bit nervous watching her fight?
Not really, not at all. I'm actually excited that she gets this platform to fight on and display her talents.
Yeah, Gabriela, you are 8-0 with 4 knockouts, just 20 years old. Man, you're fighting a lot. Staying busy for a reason? Are you looking to get an early title shot?
Of course, we gotta stay active. We're always fighting every single month. I try to stay busy because, you know, for females, it's a little bit harder to find the fights, but we're staying active, and October 8th, you'll see another great show.
Your brother is got ahead of you right now. He's got a world championship belt around his waist, but I saw a picture that he posted yesterday on Twitter. Looks like maybe you got him in the six-pack department right now. Like you got those abs going a little more than he does. You give him a little heat about that?
I got a title too. Not the WBC interim, but I mean, I still got a WBC title.
See, well, Sebastian, she's coming up on you. Look at, she even got the belt right behind her there.
Yep, you already know. You know, I won't be surprised if she becomes a full world champion before me, because the way she's heading, she's almost on the fast track. She's young, but I feel like if they were to call her tomorrow for a world title fight, she could definitely win it.
She's kind of like you in the sense that she's tall, right? For, you know, she's 5'9", you're 6'5". What advantage do you guys think your height gives you in the ring? Like when you have that kind of big height, especially you, Gabby. Let's start with you on that. You're fighting at a very low weight, right? I'm imagining you're like really towering over these people. What kind of edge do you think that physically gives you?
It's just hard work. We fight to make we train to make the fight look easy. We try to stay graceful and use our range and just outbox and make it look like a dance. So that's it.
Sebastian, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with it. You train hard, all the fights are going to be easier, but it just depends on the person. You could be tall. It doesn't mean you're going to use your reach or know how to keep someone out of range. It just, again, depends on the work.
You know, you are not a bad inside fighter, right, for having that long reach. And I wonder, sometimes you think guys that are that tall and long arms like you have, you kind of get tied up when you get close, and it's hard. So I imagine, is that something that came naturally to you, or have you had to really work on that aspect of your game?
In both ways. I had to work on it, of course, but it was easy to work on it because that's how the fighters would want to fight me. They would come in close. And instead of getting away from it, why not invite it and learn how to fight that way?
You're fighting Ocampo. You know, he's a guy that, I mean, I think the odds are in your favor. You're expected to win that fight, but he's a guy that fought Errol Spence, is known, you know, around the fight business. You know, he's moving up to 54 from 47. What kind of threat does he give you? I mean, this is not a fight I think you needed to take, right? So a little surprised that you take a fight like that, but why did you do this, and what threat does he pose to you?
Well, just like my sister, I want to stay busy as well. We need these hard fights to continue to grow. Just like the last couple fights, they've all been tough fights. So another ranked fighter add to my record is, I think, is great for me. Just keep the same formula and we'll continue to grow.
Is there anything that you can see? And I know Spence is a different fighter than you are, but can you look at that fight and see things that Errol was able to do? I know he got him out of there pretty quickly, but is there anything Errol was able to do that you think you can apply in the fight?
Of course. He's a pressure fighter. I think I consider myself a pressure fighter as well. He's a southpaw as well as me. So there's a couple of things that I see from that one round that I can get from that, but we're just going to really focus on our game.
Gabby, I want to ask you, when you watched Sebastian fight Erickson Lubin for the interim title, like that was a great fight. I mean, one of the best fights of the year, right, and everything. But you see your brother, you know, in a tough fight like that. I mean, can you still watch it as like a fighter and kind of break down what he's doing, or do the personal emotions get into it when you see him, you know, getting beat up a little bit and the fight going back and forth?
Well, I already knew what I trained with him, so I know what he has and what he's capable of. So it was good while it lasted. But you know, he's strong for what he is. So I already knew confidence. I had the confidence that he was gonna do his thing and become victorious at the end of the night.
And what about you, Sebastian, when you watch your sister in the ring? I mean, like, hey, I'm sure you're the big brother. You want to protect your sister, right? You see, her, she's been pretty successful so far, but do you feel, can you watch her fights calmly?
Yes, of course. Now, maybe the first fight I felt a little on edge, but it's because, professional is different. I mean, obviously she always had it in her hands. It was easy for her to do, but you get that little concern. But this last fight, she like demolished that girl. The fight before that, she's been crushing these girls. So I'm very excited to see what she's gonna do in this fight. I'm a fan.
Gabby, I mean, one of the things you see in women's boxing, there's not a lot of knockouts, and you've got a 50% knockout ratio. And so is that saying that you're a puncher? I mean, are you kind of like Big Brother in the sense that you got some pop in those fists?
I have to be, with women's boxing, for the most part, even I can say sometimes gets pretty boring. So I got to change it up, make it entertaining. We're here to change up the game, kind of show off that female boxing is evolving. So I'm here to change it.
And I can speak for myself as well in her behalf, because I do defense with her, and I could tell you she can crack.
So hitting like a girl is not a mean thing, right? It's a compliment. Well, Gabby, let me ask you this. I mean, women's boxing is having a really good year this year. Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall and are going to fight on a card in England, I guess the week after you do. That was postponed because of the Queen's death. But it hasn't broken through from the standpoint in the United States. England is huge, right? And the United States is not. What do you feel needs to be done to get more men watching women's boxing like they do men's boxing?
I think it's on the right track. Look at Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Right.
I heard that venue sold out. That's one of the biggest venues, So I think we're on the right track. Just you got to keep entertaining and be able to box. Honestly, the females just need to be able to box, and which they're doing good right now. So it'll get there.
And the fact that, and sometimes in men's boxing, like we're sitting here now, as we talk, the Spence Crawford fight is not actually a done deal, right? Still agreed to, but there's, not on paper. And there's a lot of fights that sometimes in men's boxing we want to see that maybe we don't see for years. In women's boxing, every woman I ever talked to in fighting, she wants to fight the champion. She wants to fight the best. So is that because you guys realize, hey, if you want to get to where the men are, you have to do things even better than they do?
Yeah, I mean, and that calls for exciting fights. For the most part, the best fighting the best. That's what people want to see. That's what fans want to see. That's what makes boxing exciting. So, I mean, if you're not fighting the best, what are you doing in boxing, right?
Exactly. Well, I know, Sebastian, you want to fight the best, and that would be Charlo in your division. He unified the titles in spectacular fashion, really looked good in that. When, I know everybody always focuses on the fight at hand, but when you project yourself down the road, how do you think you match up with Charlo? And, what is going to be difficult for you about facing a veteran like him?
Again, it's just another hard fight. I just have to train hard for that one. It's another hard opponent, but it's not like I haven't fought a hard opponent before. He's a champion. I guess that's the only difference. That's something I haven't fought yet, a former champion or a champion, but I still have him the same as these undefeated fighters or these hungry fighters that want to become champion as well.
When you watch him fight Castano, the first fight, you could have made an argument who won the first fight between those two, right? The second time, of course, Charlo took the argument out of it by getting the knockout. Did you see any difference in him? Like, did you feel like he raised his game to match the level that he needed to get to beat Castano?
I don't think so, honestly.
Really?
I thought he was stronger than him the whole time, but I saw in the first fight as well. We all saw in the first fight. I think that the punch made the difference, but in a different fight, I didn't see any different.
Now, and one other thing about, if you get into that kind of brawl like Castano was in, right? I mean, that, back and forth. I mean, is that the fight you want to fight? I mean, because it seems like whenever I see you fight, sometimes, if you lose focus a little bit, but then when the guy hits you, then you seem like you get yourself into it and you're ready to fight back. I mean, are you a guy that kind of likes being in a high contact, high activity bout?
Yeah, it depends on what the fight presents. If I feel comfortable right there, I'm definitely gonna do it. But if I don't feel comfortable in that situation, then I'm gonna do I'm gonna use my natural advantages, like my height and my reach. So.
And I'll wrap it up with this. You know, you guys are fighting in Carson, California, where there have been historically so many great fights. And I know you both have probably been in the crowd to watch some of those great fights. And the fans there are demanding. They're great fans, but they are very demanding fans. And I have been at the arena there outside, and there have been good fights that they boo because they're not, you know, pure six brawls. So how do you both, and I'll start with you, Gabby, you can answer this first, but I want both of you to answer it. How do you keep, you know, just within your game plan when you know that crowd's going to be really demanding and they want to see an amazing fight? Like, how do you just stick to your game plan and do what you have to do?
We train for what we do, but it's still an entertainment business, so we got to keep entertaining. You know, the crowds are. We went to the last, I think, I don't remember what it was, but went to the last fights and they were booing. Forgot it was a good fight, very action, but
Exactly.
You gotta keep entertaining. It's just what the crowd wants, knockouts.
And what do you think, champ?
Yeah, that's Southern California. It's not just Carson. That's I think the fight she's talking about is when Staples with the Andy Ruiz fight. They're heavyweights. You know they're gonna fight at that pace, but you're still gonna boo them. It's like it's unnecessary. But again, it's a demanding fan base, demanding crowd, and I think our styles are very exciting. So I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
Well, let's hope that they bring out the best of you. I wish you both best of luck and look forward to seeing you guys with championship belts around your waist in the future. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.